Satoshi himself he say that you could add smaller units, right? It doesn't have to be 100 million sats. It can be more than that. It could be several billions, because it will not change if you increase the number of zeros uniformly through everybody. It will just make it more practical because now you have a smaller unit, but it will not change anything. Your amount of Bitcoin, the value associated with your investment will be the same. There will be not a dilution. The dilution happens when it's not uniform, because some people gain and some people lose, etc. And that is the problem with printing, like we just said. But yeah, so and Bitcoin solves all these problems. Just it's a little bit difficult to think what will happen once we have a hyperbitcoinization in terms of things like loans. How do you structure a loan in a I think we will solve all these problems. It's just that we will have to come up with new ideas and new solutions, But the world will go in that direction, and the beauty of it is that Bitcoin does it fast enough, but at the right pace, at the right time. This is the entire idea of a power law, that is taking longer, but it's the right amount of time. It's not too long, it's not too short. It needs to time to scale. And 20 years, to have this change that will be, one of the biggest change humankind has ever had in terms of how it organizes itself, and how the people's relationships are. Because even if you don't want to have a materialistic way of thinking, that everything has to do with money, you cannot avoid it. Everything has to do. Even the most spiritual people, in the end, they need to eat, they need to have a shelter. It doesn't matter, right? It's money, and that actually one of the things, I grew up thinking, I am a scientist. I don't want to have anything to do with money. My father has a restaurant. He's a business person. Whatever. I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be a person of a mind. I thought money was a dirty thing, right? And Bitcoin actually changed my understanding about that. Now I think I think about money in a completely different way, because I think it's about value. It's human value, and everything we exchange, everything we do, even internally, it's all about value. And sure, in this case, is something physical. Even if some people think that Bitcoin is physical, it is. But in the end, it's not how it is represented, but what represents, right? It represents how you think about time, how you think about value, right? The fact, for example, that you don't want to rush and and decide, oh, I would like Bitcoin to explode to $1 million tomorrow. Well, maybe that is good for you, but it's not good for the system. Because the system will react where the price will correct itself very quickly, and many people will lose money because we start to join the system. You want to think about value in a different way than just in a selfish way. You want to start to think about what is the good for all of us, right? And Bitcoin is representing exactly that. It grows over time. We are working together. We are joined. It's also something bigger than us. One of the reasons I joined this movement, and I think many people join, is because maybe at different degrees, maybe different angles, all of us think that Bitcoin is bigger than ourselves, right? It's a cause that is bigger than us, that we really want to. And this is one of the beautiful things about young people. They want to change the world. They want to make a better place. Sometimes I think we are a little bit misguided because we have this crazy idea about hyperinflation, about band-aids, etc. But it takes time to think about stuff, right? You can be right in certain things and wrong in other things. But what is right is their desire for change, that we want a better world, we want a fair world. Even if it is not, oh, let's, give everybody a pony, it's not like that. It's something much more fairer, actually. Work hard, even just understanding and studying Bitcoin, it's hard work. And making that decision in joining and saving, for example, buying Bitcoin, moving instead of spending, and satisfying yourself on the moment, you're deferring your gains to the future, right? You're saying, I'm going to look at my future, or maybe even my children's future. It's a completely different way of sharing and growing together, that has to do also with merit, because it takes merit. It's to actually being a Bitcoiner. I have a lot of respect. It doesn't matter how different maybe sometimes our worldviews, but we are all together in this, because I can see how difficult of a mental process is to actually understand all these things, even just to get Bitcoin at any level at all. So all these things are very important, and they are part of the big picture. And I think the power law, if you really studied and if you really go deep, is basically an answer for almost all these things. This is why I call the power law a theory. It's a theory, it's a framework. Theory in science means like you have a complete, coherent picture of a phenomena, right? It's different from what people think that is, this is just valid in theory. No, it's actually, in science we use a theory. Theory is the apex of scientific exploration, is when you have enough information, enough understanding of a phenomena, where you put it together with a coherent picture. Of course, you can improve it, you can modify it, you can make it bigger, but it should give you an explanation for almost everything. And I think the power law does, right? It tries to give you an idea where we are going, why Bitcoin is valuable, what is happening with Bitcoin, with this network, with this scaling. And he has some kind of inner intelligence, because of the fact that he found a power law among all the other possible ways that Bitcoin could have developed. It means that he has some kind of internal self-organizing principles acting on it, right? Even if we are not, every single Bitcoiner is not necessarily aware of it. It works without us being aware.
Yep, absolutely. I got a couple more for you here. I want to talk about just the S-curve adoption that's very popular, and I want to talk about. Sam, I'd be remiss to not talk about price prediction here over the next year, maybe this cycle with you. You being the power law guy, I have to ask you that, and then just MicroStrategy quickly too. So the first thing is S-curve. The S-curve, obviously the technology adoption, how does that playing, because obviously that gets thrown around all the time with Bitcoin. They get lumped in together. How does that fit in with the power law? How do those work together?
If you want the answer to that question right there, and you like that spicy clip, check it out here. Come on, we'll see you in there. But if you want the full interview in its entirety, all the spicy clips put together, and you're not going to want to miss it, believe me, then check that out here. Come on, we'll see you in there. Do it.